Have you ever felt that sharp sting of frustration, the kind that whispers, "You'll never truly master English"? What if I told you that the secret wasn't in a classroom abroad, but hidden within the simple, everyday moments of your life right now? Welcome to English Unleashed. I'm Tom, and this is your sanctuary, your daily dose of guidance to transform how you speak English, to fill you with a confidence and a joy that feels unshakable. Together, we will walk this path, step by deliberate step, and I will be right here with you, speaking with a clear and measured pace, making certain you can follow every single word and feel empowered to echo them right back to me. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a concept that is breathtakingly simple, yet possesses an incredible power to change your journey. We are talking about how you can weave English practice into the fabric of every single day. Let's be honest, life is a whirlwind. You are busy, you might feel a flutter of nervousness when you even think about speaking, and perhaps you are convinced that not living in London or New York is a permanent barrier. I am here to shatter that illusion. You do not need a passport. You do not need a personal tutor sitting beside you, and you certainly do not need to sacrifice hours of sleep every night. What you truly need is a new approach. You need small, intelligent steps. Steps that are so easy to replicate, they become second nature. Steps that slip seamlessly into the life you are already living. Steps that gradually, consistently, build within you a profound sense of comfort, a natural flow, and a deep-seated confidence when you use English. So, let us begin this transformation with a fundamental question. What exactly is shadowing? You may have encountered this term before, or it might be completely new to you. Shadowing is without a doubt one of the most effective techniques ever developed to simultaneously sharpen your speaking and listening abilities. Its beauty is in its simplicity, and its results are profound. Here is how it works in practice. You listen to a person speaking English, just as you are listening to me at this very moment, and you attempt to become their exact echo. You repeat what they say, without pausing, without mentally translating the words, without reaching for a dictionary. Your sole focus is on mimicking the sound. You strive to match the speaker's pace, their tone, their very rhythm. Let us try this together right now. I will say a sentence, and you will repeat it aloud after me. I want to speak English with true fluency. Now you repeat. I make it a point to listen to English every single day. Now you repeat. The practice of shadowing is helping me to speak with greater clarity and confidence. Now you repeat. Excellent. That is the core of shadowing. In the beginning, it might feel a little unusual. You may not catch the meaning of every word, and that is perfectly acceptable. It is critical to understand that shadowing is not primarily an exercise in intellectual comprehension. This practice is about physical and neurological training. It is about conditioning your brain and your mouth to cooperate in this new language, to become familiar with the unique sounds and musicality of English, and to grow accustomed to how the language physically feels as it forms in your mouth and passes your lips. If you commit to this practice with regularity, even for a mere 5 minutes each day, you will begin to observe a remarkable shift. Your speech will gain speed. Your pronunciation will become more distinct. And your overall delivery will start to feel inherently more natural. This is a modest habit, a tiny investment of time that yields truly substantial returns. Now, let us turn our attention to the central theme of our discussion. How can you, amidst all the demands and distractions of your life, practice English every single day? I have heard every reason imaginable from students around the world.
They tell me, Tom, I truly want to learn, but I simply cannot find the time. My schedule is overwhelming. I feel a wave of anxiety whenever I try to speak. I just do not know where or how to begin. And my response to them and to you is always the same. You do not require vast amounts of time. You do not need to have mastered perfect grammar. You do not need to wait for some ideal, mythical moment in the future. The only thing you need to do is to begin, right here, right now. Allow me to share with you 5 straightforward yet immensely powerful methods to integrate English practice into your daily routine, no matter where you are in the world. Let's start with tip number 1, which is the absolute cornerstone of language acquisition. You must listen to English every day. This is the non-negotiable foundation. If you have a sincere desire to improve your speaking capabilities, you must first become a dedicated listener. This means daily exposure, not just a casual session once a week or only when you are in a formal class. Consistent listening is what allows you to absorb new vocabulary naturally. It trains your ear to recognize the authentic rhythm and cadence of the language, the way it rises and falls. It sharpens your ability to comprehend spoken English at a natural speed. And it acclimates you to the manner in which people truly communicate, which is often far different from the structured dialogues you find in textbooks. So how can you realistically implement this? The opportunities are endless. You can listen to podcasts, exactly like this one. You can stream music with English lyrics. You can watch countless videos on YouTube on topics that genuinely interest you. You can find short stories narrated for learners, or tune into news broadcasts that are delivered at a slightly slower pace. There is no pressure to understand every single syllable. The goal is to let the sounds of the language wash over you and enter your consciousness. Even if you only grasp 30 or 50% of the content, it is still an immensely valuable exercise. You can incorporate this listening into your existing routines while you are walking somewhere, while you are cleaning your home, while you are preparing a meal, while you are exercising, or even while you are simply resting. Just 10 to 15 minutes of focused listening each day is enough to create a significant and noticeable impact. Make English the constant background music of your life. Tip number 2 is the natural and essential progression from listening. You must shadow what you hear. While immersing your ears in the language is a fantastic start, it is when you actively use your voice that you truly begin to build strength and fluency. After you hear a sentence or a short, manageable segment of audio, I want you to repeat it aloud. Your mission is to copy the speaker's voice as closely as possible. Strive to match the specific rhythm, the intonation, and the emotional tone. For example, if you hear me say, I am committed to getting better at English, you would repeat that exact phrase with the same conviction. If you hear, I do not understand every single word, but I am making progress, you echo that sentiment with the same pace and feeling. Or for a sentence like, my confidence is growing little by little every single day, you would repeat it, focusing on the flow of the words. This is the practical application of shadowing. You must make this a daily ritual. Do not be afraid to repeat the same sentences multiple times. You will be amazed at how this repetition trains your vocal muscles and your mental processing. You will soon notice that your speaking becomes smoother, less hesitant. Your pronunciation will gain clarity. And perhaps most importantly, you will feel a growing sense of confidence each time you successfully mimic a native-like pattern. Please hold on to this crucial piece of advice. It does not have to be perfect.
It simply has to be practiced. The act of doing it consistently is infinitely more valuable than achieving flawless execution on your first try. Do not feel discouraged if your accent is strong initially. Your mouth is learning a new physical skill, and like any muscle, it requires regular training to adapt. To implement this, choose a short audio clip, perhaps just 30 seconds to 1 minute long, from a podcast or a video. Listen to it once all the way through. Then play it one sentence at a time, pausing after each phrase to repeat it exactly as you heard it. Do this with the same clip for an entire week. You will find that by the third or fourth day, the phrases are rolling off your tongue more easily, and you are starting to internalize the natural sound patterns of English. This is your brain and your mouth building a new partnership. This method is incredibly powerful because it bridges the gap between passive understanding and active spoken production. You are not just hearing the language, you are physically creating it, which solidifies the learning in a much deeper way. This brings us to tip number 3, a mental shift that can fundamentally alter your relationship with English. You must begin to think in English, one simple thought at a time. This is arguably one of the most significant and transformative changes you can make on your path to fluency. I understand that initially it feels incredibly difficult. Your brain's default setting is to operate in your native language, and the instinct to mentally construct a sentence there and then translate it word for word into English is overwhelmingly strong. However, this process of translation is a trap. It consumes precious time, it often leads to unnatural phrasing, and it fundamentally slows down your ability to communicate in real time. So, how do we break this habit and start building a direct pathway in your mind to English? The strategy is to start impossibly small. Begin with short, basic, self-contained sentences. Narrate your immediate reality and your simple actions internally using English. The moment you wake up, instead of just feeling groggy, form the thought in English. It is morning. I am still tired. I need to get out of bed. I want my coffee. As you walk outside, observe your surroundings in English. The sky is very blue today. The air feels cold. I see a small dog running. The bus is late. Throughout your day, pepper your internal monologue with English. I am working on the computer now. This task is challenging. I feel hungry. I will eat lunch soon. I am tired, but I will finish this. These may seem trivial, almost childish thoughts, but their power is immense. They are training your brain to bypass the translation department entirely and connect concepts, objects, and feelings directly to English words and structures. There is no middleman, no delay. This is the birthplace of true fluency. As you grow more comfortable with this internal narration, I encourage you to take the next brave step. Try saying these thoughts out loud. You do not need to shout them. Even a quiet whisper to yourself is perfectly sufficient. This act of giving voice to your English thoughts further solidifies the connection and makes the language a more intimate and personal part of your identity. It becomes a continuous, running conversation with yourself in English, transforming mundane moments into valuable practice sessions. Tip number 4 is a direct and powerful way to train the very muscles that produce speech. You must read aloud. Reading silently is excellent for building vocabulary and comprehension, but reading aloud is an entirely different and far more active form of practice. It is a comprehensive workout that forces your mouth, your tongue, your lips, and your brain to synchronize and work in harmony to produce the sounds of English. This coordinated effort is what builds the muscle memory necessary for fluent and clear speech. To begin, you should select short and simple texts. Do not overwhelm yourself with complex novels or advanced articles. Ideal materials include children's books, short stories written for English learners, dialogues from your favorite podcasts, or even the transcripts of YouTube videos. The key is to start with content that is manageable and understandable. Once you have your text, read it slowly and deliberately. Focus on pronouncing each word as clearly as you can. Pay close attention to the shape your mouth makes for each vowel and the placement of your tongue for each consonant. After your first careful reading, go through the same text again, but this time aim for a slightly faster pace. Then read it a third time, and now focus on adding expression. Imagine you are an actor performing a role. Where does the voice rise in excitement? Where does it fall in seriousness? How would you convey curiosity or surprise? This practice of reading with emotion does more than just improve pronunciation. It dramatically enhances your fluency and your overall confidence in using the language. It teaches you the natural flow and music of English, moving beyond robotic word-by-word recitation. This is the equivalent of going to a gym, but instead of sculpting your body, you are sculpting your speech apparatus, strengthening it, and making it more agile and responsive to the demands of a new language. Now we arrive at tip number 5, a concept that is the very heart of achieving true fluency. You must use English in your daily life. Let me share with you a fundamental truth that can reshape your entire learning journey. If you want to speak English well, you should not only study English, you must learn to live with English. What do I mean by this profound shift? I mean that English must cease to be merely a subject you confine to 30 minutes on a Monday evening. It should not only exist within the four walls of a classroom or the pages of a textbook. For you to truly own the language, it must become an organic, integrated part of your real, everyday existence, just as natural and routine as your morning coffee or the constant checking of your favorite social media application. The more you deliberately surround yourself with English, the more you see it, hear it, and actively use it in the context of your own life, the more natural and automatic it will become. This is about creating an English-speaking ecosystem around you. Now, you might be thinking that this sounds like a monumental task, especially if your schedule is already packed, but I promise you it is not. Let me provide you with some incredibly easy and highly effective ways to make this a reality, even if you are exceptionally busy. The first and perhaps most impactful method is to change your phone's language settings to English. Think about how many times a day you look at your phone. It could be 50, 100, or even more. Each of these glances is a potential micro-lesson. By switching your phone's interface to English, you're guaranteeing that you will see and interact with English vocabulary dozens of times daily. You will effortlessly learn words like settings, airplane mode, brightness, update, download, and delete.
You are not sitting down to memorize these words. You are simply encountering them in a real-world context repeatedly. And through this repetition, your brain absorbs and remembers them. This is a powerful form of passive learning, and its cumulative effect over weeks and months is astonishing. It makes the language a normal part of your digital landscape, stripping away its foreignness and making it a practical tool you use without a second thought. The second powerful method for weaving English into the fabric of your day is to keep a short, simple diary in English. You must banish any thought that this requires long, eloquent essays or perfect grammar. The goal is the opposite. I want you to write just 3 or 4 brief sentences that capture the essence of your day. For example, you could write, "Today was long. I had a difficult meeting at the office. After work, I cooked pasta for dinner and called my sister." Or, "It rained all morning, so I stayed indoors. I finished reading a book and listened to an English podcast. I felt very relaxed in the evening." Another example could be, "My friend visited me today. We went for a walk in the park and talked for hours. I am grateful for our friendship." This practice is incredibly valuable because it forces you to construct simple sentence structures and to use the vocabulary that is most relevant to your personal life and experiences. You are not writing about abstract topics. You are documenting your own reality in English. This creates a direct and powerful neural connection between your daily experiences and the English language. If you dedicate just 5 minutes every night to this exercise, the improvement in your ability to formulate thoughts in English will be far greater than you can currently imagine. You can use a small, private notebook for this, or you can use a notes application on your phone. For an added layer of motivation and practice, you can even share these daily entries with a friend who is also learning English, and they can write back to you. This transforms a solitary exercise into a shared, supportive journey. The third technique I passionately recommend is to record a 1-minute voice message every single day. This has become one of my most cherished suggestions for a very powerful reason. At the conclusion of your day, find a quiet moment, open the voice memo application on your phone, and press record. Then, simply speak in English for just 60 seconds. Talk about anything that comes to mind. Describe the events of your day. Share your plans for tomorrow. Articulate your current feelings, or talk about one new English word or phrase you learned. For instance, you might say, "Today was a busy day. I had to complete a project in the morning, and it was more challenging than I expected. In the afternoon, I went to the supermarket and bought groceries for the week. Tonight, I feel very relaxed in the evening because I practiced my English." It is absolutely okay and even expected that you will make mistakes. The profound liberation in this exercise is that no one else ever has to listen to these recordings. This practice is solely for you. Its purpose is to create a safe, private space where you can practice speaking without any fear of judgment. When you finish recording, I strongly encourage you to listen back to yourself. This is where a tremendous amount of learning occurs. You will hear your own pronunciation, your grammar patterns, and your pacing. Over time, you will start to notice your common mistakes. Perhaps you consistently forget the S on third-person verbs, or maybe you struggle with the pronunciation of certain vowel sounds. This built-in feedback loop creates powerful self-awareness, and this awareness is the first and most critical step towards correcting those errors. This daily 1-minute ritual builds 3 essential pillars of fluency: confidence, as you become accustomed to the sound of your own voice speaking English; fluency,
as you practice stringing thoughts together in real time, and self-awareness as you become your own most constructive teacher. The fourth strategy for integrating English into your daily life is to actively seek out and join an English-speaking community online. In the digital age, you do not need to wait for a formal classroom environment to find people to practice with. The internet is teeming with vibrant communities of English learners and supportive native speakers who are all connected by the same goal: to use the language in a real communicative way. You can find dedicated groups on platforms like WhatsApp or Telegram, or you can use language exchange websites and applications such as Tandem, or join large active Facebook groups focused on English learning.
The beauty of these communities is the variety of interaction they offer. You can start by simply reading the messages and posts that others write. This alone is valuable reading practice. When you feel ready, you can take the brave step of writing a short message yourself. It could be a simple greeting, a question about English, or an answer to someone else's query. An even more powerful step is to send short voice notes within these groups. This allows you to practice your speaking in a supportive environment and receive encouraging feedback from peers. The act of asking and answering questions not only clarifies your own doubts, but also reinforces your knowledge when you help others. This transforms English from a solitary academic subject into a living, breathing tool for human connection and shared growth. It makes the process of learning feel alive, purposeful, and far less isolating. The fifth and final method I will share for using English in your daily life involves the content you already enjoy. I want you to watch short English videos and actively repeat the sentences you hear. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts are treasure troves of brief, engaging content created by native speakers. The algorithm is designed to show you things you love, so you can curate your feed to be filled with English language videos about topics you are genuinely passionate about, whether that is travel, cooking, technology, comedy, or daily vlogs. The key here is to move from passive consumption to active participation. When you find a video you like, do not just watch it once and scroll away. Watch it 2 or 3 times. The first time, just enjoy it and try to understand the general idea. On the second viewing, pay closer attention to the language. Then pause the video after a sentence or a short phrase and repeat exactly what the speaker said. Try to copy not just the words, but the very essence of their voice, their speed, their tone, their emotion, and their rhythm. Even if the video is only 20 seconds long, it represents a perfect, self-contained lesson in how real, contemporary English is spoken in informal settings. This method is incredibly effective because it is fun, it feels effortless, and it exposes you to the living, evolving language as it is used by people today, complete with current slang, expressions, and cultural references. It turns your entertainment time into a productive and highly enjoyable practice session. So, let us be very clear. Using English in your daily life is not a difficult or time-consuming endeavor. It does not require a formal teacher standing over your shoulder, and it certainly does not need to dominate your schedule. The true secret, the magic key, lies in this simple principle. You must consciously turn your small, routine daily actions into opportunities for English practice. It's a shift in perspective, where you see potential learning moments hidden in plain sight throughout your day. Instead of automatically saying good morning to your family in your native language, you make the conscious choice to say good morning in English. Instead of writing your shopping list or your work to-do list in your mother tongue, you take 2 minutes to try and write it in English. Instead of watching a few minutes of television or scrolling through videos in your own language, you deliberately seek out and watch 5 minutes of content in English. These actions are small, almost insignificant on their own. They require minimal extra time and almost no additional energy. But their power is not in their individual size. It's in their collective repetitive force.
These small, conscious actions are the bricks that build strong, unshakable habits. And it is these strong, consistent habits, practiced day after day after day, that forge truly confident and capable English speakers. Therefore, I want you to remember this core message. Make the English language an integral part of your life. Let it reside in your phone's interface, in your private journal, in your stream of thoughts, and in the sound of your own voice. Let it evolve from being a subject you study to being a tool you use, and finally, to becoming a part of who you are. When you achieve this integration, English will shed its skin as a tedious homework assignment. It will no longer feel like a burden. It will feel like a natural extension of yourself, something you live with and use effortlessly. And that, right there, is the precise moment when real, authentic fluency begins to take root and flourish.